of the day. The White House says President Joe Biden will travel to London this Monday and meet with the King and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak during his visit. But has the trip turned sour already? The President is pushing for EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen to be installed as the next NATO Secretary-General. That's after blocking the UK candidate Ben Wallace. Is this a harmless push for a stronger Europe in defiance of Russia, or another shameless snub by Sleepy Joe? Let me know what you think. But let's see what my panel makes of this. Peter,
yes.
Is it harsh even to ask the question, does Biden hate Britain, or does he a little bit?
Well, he does a good impression of it, or rather, should I say, being dismissive of it. There was that remark, about I'm Irish, for example, when asked by the BBC. I think that the whole attitude to Britain from America seems actually to have changed somewhat. And I think that there's far less sympathy, so much for a special relationship. I mean, I think that exists now purely in British minds. I can't see any real evidence that actually they look upon us in the same way that maybe we look upon them. And I think it's been actually over for quite a long time. I'd say the last time, really, that there was a real sort of strong bond, if you're not counting Blair, was Thatcher and Reagan. But even then, during that so-called special relationship, even during that period, Reagan, was very sort of tentative about helping us out in the Falklands, things like that. So I think that this is very much I think they just don't think about us very much. I mean, that's the point, not hatred.
Do you not think Trump, though, when he came in 2019, I think it was, in the summer, he had a 3-day extravaganza here. There was talk of this big trade deal, which Biden has gone very quiet on indeed.
Yes.
But do you think Trump reinvigorated that relationship somewhat?
I don't think so. I think it was probably just a bit of a one-off, Luke. I mean, there he was with the Queen and making a huge fuss about the Queen, quite rightly. But in fact, I think generally speaking, we don't sort of register there in the same way that we think maybe we do. We're just part of this thing called Europe. Look, I'm a huge patriot. I wish I weren't saying that, but I think it is the case.
Peter, I must point out that we've got on the screen, and for those listening on radio, we've got a picture, moving image of Joe Biden with his deck chair, moving very slowly, not to be rude, not to be ageist, but he is moving very slowly with his deck chair on the beach. And this was yesterday. He's having a very lovely time, moving very slowly indeed, Stephen. But apparently he falls off his deck chair. So we'll keep an eye on that, Stephen. Yeah. It is a bit tragic to see Joe Biden come to, get into a few scrapes, doesn't he?
Well, I think this business about the special relationship is very interesting. You actually say the Thatcher-Reagan thing. I mean, even at the height of that rapprochement, don't forget, Reagan would go and invade Grenada, not even tell us. Yeah. We had no idea that this was, part of the Commonwealth. And, he didn't give anything for us. I think Lyndon Johnson, you remember when he tried to get Harold Wilson to send troops to Vietnam, and, can you at least let us have some Scotch guards and bagpipes, please? And at the end of it, he said, look, I'm sorry, the special relationship is gone. I think it has. But look, the thing about Biden that's fascinating is that, I spent so much time in Northern Ireland when we worked with Biden, and particularly George Mitchell and other people. I still actually follow Congress and follow the papers. And there's a big headline in the New York Times a couple of months ago. It says, Biden's IRA triumph. And I thought, oh, no. But, of course, it's the Inflation Reduction Act. It was.
The New York Times is worth doing a whole segment on, because they've been running piece after piece.
Oh, they hate the British. No, they do hate the British.
Negative about Britain. Yeah. But the evidence is stacking up, isn't it, Peter? He sent his wife Jill in his place to the King's coronation. Some people saw that as a snub. Of course, the White House say it was no such thing. He openly criticises the British government over Brexit policy, over the Northern Ireland Protocol. He blocked our Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace, from being the NATO Secretary-General in favour of a failed German Defence Minister, now European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen. He would rather see, by the sounds of it, a very much European internationalist-focused defence.
Oh, I think that's very evident. I mean, that last bit, definitely. I mean, sending his wife Jill to the coronation, I think, God, I sound like I'm trying to be fair to them. The fact is that British monarchs don't go to American presidents don't go to British.
So you think that's a red herring?
Bit of a red herring. Also, when Charles and Diana got married in 1981, Reagan sent Nancy. He didn't come. So, I mean, I think basically you can read too much into this. Having said that, the royal family has been really important in keeping any kind of relationship going with their soft power. I mean, he's meeting the King in Windsor tomorrow. I live in Windsor, so it'll be hellish down there. The
Or
Queen,
delightful, depending on your point of view.
the Queen got on very well with the Obamas, for example, but that didn't stop Obama taking out the bust of Winston Churchill from the White House,
I think
So there's always been a bit of a fractured relationship. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
We must move on. You are watching and listening to GB News Sunday with me, Emily Carver. Please do let me know what you think about Joe Biden. His trip is very much a short trip compared to what Trump had when he came here for a